Hey everyone, welcome to Mythology Explained. In today's video, we are going to discuss the Morai, better known as the Fates. Let's get into it. The Morai were the Greek goddesses of fate. Of their origin, there are two versions, which, interestingly, are both given in the same work, Hesiod's Theogony. The first is that they were independently produced by Nyx, a primordial deity and the personification of night. The second is that they were born to Zeus and Themis, a first-generation titan and the goddess of custom and law. The Morai, this name meaning portions or shares of life, assigned the destiny that was each person's life, appointing them a measure of both good and evil. Individually, their names, Clotho, Lachesis, and Atropos, represent the function each serves in spinning, measuring, and cutting the threads of fate. Clotho, the spinner, alludes to spinning the thread of destiny, the other two sisters then measuring and cutting the thread, each strand representing the destiny of a person, the totality of what their life would be. Lachesis, the caster, threw lots to determine what a person's destiny would be, and Atropos, the Unturnable One, ensured that each person's destiny was immutable and inexorable. Beyond being the arbiters of fate, the Morai are also described as being involved in both the Gigantomachy, the war between the gods and the giants, and in Zeus's battle against Typhon. Using bronze cudgels, they killed two giants, Egrios and Thun, and using their guile, they tricked Typhon, convincing him that he would become stronger if he tasted the ephemeral fruits, sapping his strength instead of augmenting it, making it easier for Zeus to defeat him. While humans were utterly powerless to change their fates, the same was not entirely true for God, who had a little wiggle room, able to influence the fates on occasion, especially Zeus, who is sometimes called Zeus Moirai. A story that exemplifies this is that of Admetus, who wanted to marry Alcestis, the daughter of Peleus, who would only allow his daughter to marry the man who could yoke a boar and a lion to a chariot. Fortunately for Admetus, he had a god in his service at this time. Apollo became enraged when Zeus killed Asclepius, his son, smiting him with a lightning bolt. He retaliated by killing the trio of Cyclopes who crafted lightning for Zeus, and as a punishment for exacting retribution in this way, Zeus ordered him into the service of Admetus, making him a slave to a mortal man for a year. Admetus treated Apollo well, and a friendship developed between them. So it was that Apollo, as a favor to his friend, yoked the lion and boar and then gave the chariot to Admetus, allowing him to present it to Peleus and win the right to marry the woman he loved. At his wedding, Admetus forgot to dedicate his sacrifice to Artemis. This infuriated the goddess, so she filled his marriage chamber with snakes. Apollo counseled his friend to placate Artemis, and he even went and supplicated the fates on Admetus's behalf, arranging an agreement whereby, when Admetus was about to die, he could continue living if another person offered themselves up in his stead. Sadly, when this time came, neither his mother nor his father would accept death in his place, so his wife sacrificed herself. A story that exemplifies the opposite, where a mortal's fate could not be changed, is that of Meleager. The Morai pronounced his fate at the moment of his birth. Clotho said that he would be noble, Lachesis that he would be brave, but what Atropos had to say wasn't nearly so auspicious. She looked at the hearth and pointed at one of the logs, saying he would only live so long as that log kept burning. Upon hearing this, Althea, Meleager's mother, snatched the log from the fire and hid it away, thus deferring the time of her son's death, but, as we'll see, not forestalling his fate. Meleager grew to become a strong and capable man. He accompanied Jason on his quest for the Golden Fleece, and it was he who killed the Caledonian boar, a monstrous animal unleashed by Artemis, who, as was the case in the previous story, was incensed by a sacrifice not being dedicated to her. There were many hunters, and a fight broke out over the boar's hide and head, the trophies of the hunt. Meleager killed several of Althea's brothers, and for this loss, Althea cursed her own son, calling for his death. In one version, Meleager later dies in this conflict, both his wife and mother then hanging themselves out of grief. In another, Althea, upon hearing of the death of her brothers, takes the log out of its hiding place and throws it back on the fire, condemning her son to death. And that's it for this video. If you like the content, please like and subscribe. Thanks for watching.